Hey, good morning, and welcome to another episode of In the Studio with Carliss. Today, I have the distinct pleasure to have my brother from many, many years in the Marine Corps, a super friend of mine, one of my closest friends, Spencer Horton. Spencer is located in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and we're going to talk about community involvement. He's
Yes.
involved in a host of community projects. He's a beacon in the community, and I am super excited to have Spencer on the podcast. So with that being said, Spencer, if you would introduce yourself to our studio audience, and after that, we will go ahead and go through our normal process of In the Studio with Carliss.
All right. Well, first of all, Carlos, you kind of offended me, brother. You called me a friend. You my brother.
100%, a brother,
You my brother.
100%.
You my brother. We taken our relationship up above a level of friendship to where you my brother.
100.
And as Carlos said, also known as CJ, I'm actually located in Douglasville, Georgia. We're just west of Atlanta. We're about 15 minutes outside of Atlanta. Me and Carlos go back well over, my God, 40 years. 40 years.
40
40
years,
years.
at least. Yeah.
I can't introduce myself without introducing the relationship that I have with Carlos. When I was a young, hard-headed Marine, literally on my way out the door. But when Carlos got to Kalamazoo, North Carolina, coming from Albany, Georgia,
Yes, sir.
he was
Yes, sir.
he was Corporal Carliss C. Jones. And when I say I wouldn't listen to too many people, but when he showed up, I'd say he made an impact, not by what he said, by what he did. And I actually, it's amazing that we've come threefold over this time frame because I learned the importance of leadership and service based on the leadership that Carlos gave me. He literally
Wow,
invested in me. He literally
for sure.
invested in me. And and I just want him to see today that 40 plus years ago that his investment is paid off. That his investment is
100%. I
paid
am
off. He
super
sold
proud of you,
into
Spencer.
my
You know
life.
that.
He sold into
Yeah,
my life,
super,
and
super, super proud of you. You know
and
that you were.
yes, sir.
It's one thing to be a leader, but you also have to learn to be a follower. And at that time, you trusted me, and I wanted to ensure that you trusting in me, that I wouldn't bestow your trust. But I saw something in you that I knew could manifest into who you are today.
Mm.
So my vision and my goal from what God put into my heart is to just, do the right thing. I never second guessed anything. Our Marine Corps careers have both were blessed to retire from the Marine Corps.
Yes, sir.
We both were able to do great things in our Marine Corps career and then go on into our civilian careers. But I appreciate the accolades. I appreciate the understanding where we both came from to where we are today.
Oh,
So
no doubt about
definitely,
it. No doubt about it.
as I say, to God be the glory. You know how I feel about you as a friend, a brother. Words can't even express because, we've had our moments, we've had our days, but God.
No doubt about it.
So
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
look at where we are today. So,
Look at
all
where we
right.
are. Look at where we are today. But yes, but
Yes.
I proudly serve as a member of the 100 Black Men of Douglasville. Of course, we're a derivative of the 100 Black Men of America. That's actually my primary focus as far as my service is concerned. But I also serve as a part of I work with the sheriff. Sheriff Tim Pounds. I also work with the police chief, Chief Gary Sparks. With Chief Gary Sparks, we have the Rising Men of Douglasville.
Wow.
Our sheriff, Tim Pounds, we have the Youth Against Violence. Because I truly believe, as Shirley Chisholm says, service is the price you pay for your rent here on earth.
Can you say that one more time, Spence? Can you say that one
Service,
more time?
service is the price that you pay for your rent here on earth. And
Amen.
I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a firm believer in that saying, and I try to practice what I preach. Try to practice
All
what I
right.
preach.
All
It's
right.
about giving back to
Well,
the
with that
community.
being said, let's transition into these motivating questions. I cannot wait for the answers because I know it's going to
Yes,
be
sir.
a treat for our listening audience. And as you know, our podcasts are not scripted.
Mm.
I ask the questions and we get the answer. It's no practice, it's no rehearsals because what I want you to do is get to know the person on the podcast, what makes them tick. But more importantly, just to know he's just another average, everyday person that had a calling, a gift, a belief, and he's walking in faith. First question: what inspired you to become involved in serving the community and how did your journey begin?
Well, Carlos, we got to go back. We met in service to this country. We met
Amen.
in service to this nation. So Service is what I do. But as I transitioned after 20 plus years in the Marine Corps, I went into government service once again. Had the opportunity to serve fellow veterans as a veteran service representative for the Georgia Department of Labor. And as I transitioned from that career 9 years ago, I can believe how time is flowing. I knew that I wanted to continue in service. When President Barack Hussein Obama was elected president of the United States, he started an initiative. It was called Brothers Keepers. And I
Wow.
realized that, guess what? I am my brother's keeper. And for a man to do, it's easy to kill a man than to keep a man, but I decided to keep him by killing. A lot of people have many callings and many ways to serve. I chose to serve the youth because I'd rather teach the young than to rehabilitate the broken.
I
And that's
like
how
that. I like that.
that's how I got involved in keeping them before the prison system caught them.
I like that. Yes, sir.
Keeping them and directing them before the prison system caught them. And that's how I got involved in the mentoring. That's how I got involved in the mentoring. I had heard of the 100 Black Men, but I wasn't introduced to them. There's a big difference between hearing and having an introduction. So I actually started off serving in my community because everybody is not going to be known for being great, but everybody can do something great.
Can you say
Everybody
that
can do
one more
something.
time, Spence? I like that. Can you run that
Yeah,
one by run that back one more time?
everybody is not going to be known for doing something great, but everybody can
Yes,
do something great.
I like
And
that.
so it starts in your community. The world may not know me, but I guarantee you, the community of Douglasville knows me because
That's
it's
what it's
about
about.
service. It's about service, servicing your local community. And so that's how I got involved with the Rising Men of Douglasville with the police chief. I got involved in that. It was a 12-week program with dealing with with young folk and redirecting them and being an example to them. And it's about diversity. Everybody's not going to have a PhD. Some of us have GEDs, but we have everything in between. But what the whole concept is, come on, I see you like that one, Carlos. I got a million of them. But we need to be able to relate
Lo
to these young people. We need to be able to
Yes, sir.
relate to
Yes,
the young
sir.
people. And so what we
Yeah.
did, we start showing diversity. You know, we had every occupation that you could have: policemen, firemen, entrepreneurs, HVAC. Everybody's not going to have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, but you can get a certification. So we want to meet
Yeah.
these young folk where they at, which led to the Youth Against Violence with the sheriff, Tim Pounds. Once again, directing these young men that have gotten into trouble, but you give them opportunity. You give them opportunity. So with my service with those two organizations, what led to another brother who was watching me serve.
Wow.
He introduced me to the 100 Black Men of America. He introduced me to the 100 Black Men of America.
So, Spence,
Yes, sir.
you really said, some powerful comments. One, everybody needs to understand this. Someone is always watching.
Yes, sir.
Someone
Yes,
is
sir.
always watching and
Yes, sir.
evaluating you to see if you're the person for that appointed position that God has directed. So you being watched by the young man that introduced you to the organization is amazing. But another thing I really like what you said is everyone is not designed for college. So I like
Mhm.
how you in the organization put different occupations in front of our youth, our young man, for them to understand you're not a failure if you don't want to go to college.
That's
But
right.
give me a certification in HVAC or electrician and things of those things, because those are jobs, those are skills that will grow with you, and you can live a very successful life for
Yes,
you
sir.
and your family with those occupations. So I,
That's
I like that, and I like that diversified portfolio for our youth, and that's modeled in front of them. And the other thing that I like that these are people, these are men that our youth can touch, that they
that's
can
right.
have a relationship with. So when they get to that crossroads, someone is there to say, you know what, let's talk about it because I've been there. I
That's
think
right.
that's important. So I think that's very, very important. All right, next question. Can you share a community project or initiative that has been the greatest, that you've had the greatest impact, that has the greatest impact on you personally?
Wow, that's an easy one right there, Carlos. We just graduated our first cohort with our Forge Academy with in Douglasville, Georgia, the Forge Academy. Yes, sir. Yes,
Like
sir.
the movie?
Exactly. Exactly. Like the movie. But it
Wow.
was with our initiative with the 100 Black Men. When I say again, of course, well, back when we were recruited in the military, you remember the
Yes.
sword when we joined the Marine Corps? It was
Yes,
forged. It
sir.
was forged by steel. When you take something that has no shape, it seemingly has no purpose. But when it's tried by fire, you took a raw piece of steel, but then when it was put in the fire, it was forged into what? In the Marine Corps, we have the Mameluke sword. So in other
Yes,
words,
sir.
you're taking something that seemingly has no purpose. It seemingly has no direction. It seemingly has no use but a piece of metal, a raw piece of steel. But it's after 6 months in the academy, we turn young
Wow.
men who came in with their trousers sagging. Yeah, no, seemingly no direction. But after six
Yeah.
months, it's not boot camp now because
Right.
we're training them. Yes, we are. But they came out of that. And some of the parents and grandparents can testify that you've done what
Wow.
I could not do with my grandson. You
Wow.
did what I couldn't do with my son. Because what we did, one of the mantras in the Marine Corps, I was a drill instructor, tours on the drill field at Officer Candidate School, is ductos exemplo, which is a Latin term that simply means leadership by example.
I
Leadership by
like
example. When the brothers would come into the classroom, we would stand in front of the classroom and simply say, if you don't look like me, fix yourself. That means, guess what? Your shirt is tucked in. If you have belt loops, you should have a belt. Your pants should be pulled up. And that was our motto in the 100 Black Men. It's perfect. Our intro is they'll be what they see. They will
I
be
like that.
what they see. So, and just like we're dealing with children, little children, toddlers, they mimic what they see. A child born in Japan doesn't know he's Japanese. He speaks Japanese because he mimics the language of his parents. Come on now, Carliss. Don't get me started. A
It's
child born
go
in
ahead.
Mexico doesn't know he speaks Spanish, but he mimics the language of the parents, whoever's raising him. And so that's the same thing with these young men that we see. We want them to see. You can always make a correction. Pull your pants up,
Uh-huh.
boy. Watch your mouth. No, but when you show them love, which is the
Yeah.
key,
Yeah.
and you show them love,
That's key.
not just by what you say, by what you do. See, because I added to the one that had 100 Black Men's mantra is they can't be what they see if they don't see me.
I
So
like that.
they can't be what they see if they don't see me. So I'm consistent with showing up for them,
That's
with showing
important.
up for them. Now that Forge Academy, when I say we was on two of our major television stations here in Atlanta metro area, when we graduated to Forge Academy, which was called on by our mayor, Miss Rochelle, that we were having issues with the youth. And it's not all about policing them up. See, they're building more jails than classrooms. See, but we want to
Talk
keep them,
about
want to keep them out of the jails. So guess what? So in order for us to make an impact in our community, first of all, we must be visible, we must be available, and we must be usable. One more time, we must be visible, we must be available, and we must be usable in our communities.
Yeah. So Spence, how many graduates did you guys graduate in this last class?
We have 25. We have 25 young men that graduated.
Okay. And how many
25
started
young
with
men.
you?
We started with 28, but we had
Okay.
25 to complete the course.
Okay. So is it like sports? You kind of cut yourself
Hey, that
and
part right there. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. All we ask you to do is be available. We met on
Yes.
2 Saturdays of the month. We met on the first and the fourth Saturday, and we partnered up. We have it's called Simpleview Academy, which is a charter school here in Douglasville. We partnered up
Okay.
with the director, Miss Nandi, and she allowed us to utilize her space because a part of our selling point is this. Even though we're not educators, we're mentors. But if you allow us to mentor these kids, we'll make it easier for you to educate them because
Now
they won't be.
that's a
One more
win-win.
time. One more time. It's a win-win situation. If you
It
allow us to
is.
mentor them and to motivate them, see, you teach them the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. We teach them, first of all, self-respect,
Yes.
self-discipline, self-control. In other words, all these things start with self. It starts
Yeah.
with you. It starts with you. So we partnered up with the Simpleview Academy, and we used that space once again on the first and the fourth Saturday of the month. And the sessions were 3 hours. Now, watch this, Carlos. One of our mantras is we're designed to serve the underserved youth in the community. Underserved youth. Yes, there's a registration fee, but if the parents couldn't pay, that we could tell they would drop their head and say, listen, no, the money is not going to disqualify them. We'll pay it for them.
I
We
like
just
that.
need to make sure that you get that young man to us. We'll take it from
Right.
there.
And to me, I think that's very important because
Yes,
it actually makes a statement. Again, talking about certain issues, but not standing behind what you say is so important because
yes, sir.
that paints a visible picture as well. But you encouraging these parents to bring their young men to your program. And I
Mhm.
love it that we don't let finances be a deterrent to actually help a kid that maybe all he needs is just that added push. So again, this program should be applauded. I'm glad to see that it's getting the visibility
Yes, sir.
in the metro Atlanta area. But I think this is something, if it's not infectious throughout the country, it should be. I'm sure as our viewers watch this, they're going to probably have a lot of questions. So at the end of this episode, I'm going to ask how they can reach out to you. Maybe you can share this information about the program. I do know a lot of areas here in the central Orlando area and Cloud area that we could benefit from something like this.
Yes, sir.
100%. We definitely could benefit from something like this because um, demographics shouldn't be a deterrent as well. Because
You're
we
exactly
have the
right.
same issues in Douglasville as we have in Chattanooga, Tennessee, as in Columbus,
Mhm.
Ohio,
That's
right
right.
in our hometowns today. So it just takes us all willing to understand that what you said, Spence. We got to invest time.
We
It's an
have to.
investment.
We have to.
It's easy to sit back on the sideline and say, "Man, look at these kids," but what are you doing to try to make a difference to help?
That part. Yes, sir.
And the biggest thing I like about what you said is that example. Examples is so important to know that you're watching. They know that I have somebody watching. But another thing that I really like that you said is how the parents realize the transformation of the before kid and the after. And then a follow on comment is after the kids leave the program, do they remain connected with the organization?
Good question, Carlos. We mentor for life. We
I like
mentor for
that.
life.
Yeah.
We mentor for life. Also, Douglasville chapter. Let me back up. We're one of the newest chapters in the
Wow.
100 Black Men organization. Yes, we're 5 years
And
old.
y'all
We're
moving
five
like
years.
that as a new chapter?
Listen. When you have people that are serious and you have people that are committed, guess what? God will put super on your natural and elevate you quickly. Come on now,
Can you
Carlos.
say
One
that
more
one
time.
more time?
One more time for the people in the back. God will put super on your natural and elevate you quickly if you're committed to it. See, okay,
Yeah.
Carlos, I'm trying not to preach, but when the Bible says many are
Hey,
called,
know you.
but many are called, but few are chosen. See, many are called, but few are chosen. You know, you can call yourself anything. You can call yourself anything. See, but the Bible tells us that guess what? Judge not, lest ye be judged. But it says what? You know them by the fruit that they bear. So, in other words,
Talk
we're
about
fruit inspectors. We're called to be fruit inspectors. See, I see what you're producing, which tells me everything about you.
it.
Now,
Yeah.
where I come from, they say talk is cheap. Talk
Yes,
is cheap.
sir.
Anybody can talk a good game, but what are you producing? So that's what it's about, Carlos. That's what it's about. Now, don't talk about it, as Master P would say, be about it.
Yes.
And that's where we are in Douglasville. Come on now, Carlos, don't do that. This is not the time to be snickling, sir. But listen, so we're about the business, and it's about the youth. It's about the youth. It's
Yeah.
about the youth.
Yeah.
See, because when Mayor Dinkins, David Dinkins, who was the first black mayor of New York, when Jackie Robinson, the first black number 42 Major League Baseball player, who are a part of the original founders of the 100 Black Men.
Oh,
See, when
wow.
they got, yes, sir, this is a little history lesson also, brother. So when they got together in 1963, see, the civil rights movements was kicking off. But what they realized was this: it was more youth that were involved in the civil rights movement who don't get a lot of credit. It was youth standing behind those adults wearing their shoes out. We can't get a kid now to walk to the corner to get the mail out the mailbox. See, so
What?
when they developed this in 1963, it was designed to develop these young people, to grow up to be young men that were going to lead in the movement. See, so when Dr. King and Dr. Ralph Abernathy were doing the Southern Christian leadership, and when they was developing the NAACP, they knew they needed something to develop these young men to replace the adults. See,
Wow.
so even today, we're still doing the same thing, Carlos. Just like you trained me to replace you. See, all I did was transition that to my civilian life. Guess what? Hat on fell out, got a little bit gray, but I'm all right with that thing. See, but I'm training up my replacements. And see, I
Yes,
need to
sir.
make
Yes, sir.
sure, I need to ensure that the future looks bright. See, but I
Yeah.
can't complain if I'm not doing anything. So I'm passionate about
Wow.
this. I hee and ha ha, but I don't play because I'm serious about these kids. Because when the young men
That's
ask me,
important.
when they ask me, Mr. Spencer, you retired, you can be doing anything. Why are you here with us? And you know what I say? It's real easy, Carlos. I wish that I had me when I was your age.
That
Wish,
man. Can you say that
wish
one more time, Spence?
that I had a brother. I wish they had a successful somebody who thought enough of me to invest in me. And see,
Yeah,
Carlos, you
that's
know now, I know you fully retired now, brother. What we realize now, see, we can always make another dollar, but we can't make another
100.
minute. See, so
Yeah.
my time is more valuable than anything. The last check I write ain't gonna
Yes,
bounce.
sir.
Uh-huh. So I'm gonna run out of time before I run out of money. So as I matured,
Yeah.
I realized it's not all about me. The
100.
law of reciprocity is alive and well. When the Bible talks about seed time, harvest time, he says, as long as there's night, as long as there's day, as long as there's spring, summer, winter, and fall, see, the law of reciprocity is still be in existence. So, in other words, carnal people call it karma. They call it karma. See, but those of us
Yeah.
that know Jesus Christ, it's called reciprocity. See, so I'm sowing
Yes, sir.
seeds. See, Carlos, watch this, brother. I got to go back to you. I know. I got to go back to you. See, when you sowed that seed into me, back at Camp Lejeune. See, you sowed a seed into me, but you didn't realize that guess what? See, out of the one seed you sowed in me, look at the bushels that are coming from the one seed that you sowed, brother. See,
Amen.
I'm
Wow.
here and I had a
That's powerful.
successful career. Come on, this is real, brother, and this ain't for entertainment purposes only. And I know I've told you, but now I said it privately, but publicly, I want to thank you because you were an example to me, brother. That it's taken me, Lord, it's taken me 40 years, brother.
Yeah.
So I want to let you know now that guess what? Your labor wasn't in vain, brother. It wasn't in vain, it wasn't in
Wow.
vain, brother. So the seed you sowed in me, I'm sowing it in other young men.
Yeah, and that's a blessing, and that's powerful, Spence. Like I said, man, I'm getting chills just hearing you say that because I move in the direction that God leads me. As I've gotten older, my faith has got stronger. I
Yes, sir.
know this platform was an introduction for me to really take it to that next level. Today, this podcast is monumental because the things
Mhm.
that you share today, it continues to instill that I see your growth. I see what you're doing. I'm like a little brother, very proud of. I mean, a big brother, very proud of his little brother
Yes,
because
sir.
even though we don't talk often, the love, the respect, it never wavers.
That's right.
Again, I'm super proud of what you're doing. And one of the things we talk about is when God calls us home, what does our legacy look like?
That's
Who
right.
did we touch? Who did we impact? Did we make a
That's right.
difference? Were we just on this world, on this earth, just willy-nilly, have nothing to show for it? Do we have any disciples? Do we have any fruits of our
Mhm.
labor? That is,
That's right.
to me, is so important. You are a living testimony that you're the fruit of our labor because you had to buy
Mhm.
into what I was telling you many,
That's
many
right.
years ago.
Fact.
But what fills my heart with pleasure is to know that you are sharing that knowledge with others
Yes,
and
sir.
you continue to be a beacon of light and hope. So, as we get ready to wrap up this amazing podcast, now I'll tell you this
Yes, sir.
off the rip in front of everyone. This will not
That's
be
right.
your last time being in the studio with Carlos.
Brother.
You have an open invitation. Anytime you want to talk about a subject, whatever, we can do a weekly show if you want to, because I
Come on,
know
brother.
there's a purpose for what we're doing today that will impact
No doubt
people
about it, Caesar.
tomorrow.
No doubt about it.
So, with that being said, please give
Mm.
our listeners your contact information, how they
Yes,
can
sir.
reach you if they want
Uh-huh.
to get in contact with you to get additional
Mhm.
information before you come back on the podcast. So, please.
Okay, too easy. It's my first name, Spencer dot Horton at 100 Black Men hyphen Douglasville.org. One more time. Spencer dot Horton at 100 Black Men hyphen Douglasville.org. That's how you can reach me. Any questions, comments, or concerns that you may have.
Okay. In addition, when I post this on my social media, I'll put that information as well. But Spencer, I
Uh-huh.
really appreciate this wholeheartedly. This has been a great episode of In the Studio with Carlos. And tell your lovely wife we appreciate you. Janelle and I send our best, and we're gonna have to do a 2-on-2, husband and wife
Okay, no doubt
podcast for our
about it, brother.
wives and get on and talk about it because we definitely all have a lot in common. And I just thank God for the relationship. I definitely thank God for you.
No
I
doubt.
love you, brother. You know that
Love you too, brother.
unconditionally. And I thank you again for joining the podcast. So, family
Yes.
and friends, this has been another amazing episode in the studio with Carlos. Definitely want to thank Spencer Horton for joining us and sharing all his wisdom and knowledge about his organization, 100 Black Men. And thank you again for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe of the podcast. And also, don't forget, we are a full-fledged photography studio. So for all your photography needs, reach out to Creative One Photos, 1020 New York Avenue in downtown St. Cloud. And keep watching because who knows, one day you could be in the studio with Carliss. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos.